Science Challenge Day.
Let us begin.
No, we've been goofing up, dog. So only thing that's left is, I said, only thing we have left is what can we do to like harden our environment to where we can live on it. One to withstand. One is moving to higher elevations. Which that's just my
that's just yeah.
Two,
facts.
create those freaking sea barriers and sea walls and stuff like that. It ain't gonna be the sea walls ain't gonna completely help you, but they're gonna freaking be at least a little bit, right? The freaking hurricane proof a lot like every home, not just in Florida, it's gonna have to start being hurricane proof.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have to have like hurricane proof homes in New York. It did. Look what happened in freaking was that in Jersey? Was that Jersey? That storm?
Yeah.
I forgot. Sandy, was it Sandy? Hurricane Sandy? Right? And so like, now they have to have hurricane insurance, like flood insurance everywhere. Like Florida hurricane
insurance companies are not
it's gonna be crazy. We're talking about.
Yeah,
the national the NOAA, the National Weather Service forecasters at the Climate Prediction Center predict above normal hurricane activity in the Atlantic Basin this year. NOAA's outlook for 2024 Atlantic hurricane season, which spans from June 1st, yesterday. Look out. It's here.
we know hurricane season.
Right? From Florida, we know some hurricane season. June 1st to November 30th predicts. Oh, by the way, this is a random note. This is a completely random note. Another reason why like Tennessee was just such a good getaway for me.
Because of
I went to a Publix.
Oh snap! They do have a Publix up there.
Publix down there.
They do have Publix in Tennessee.
And so I haven't been to Publix in so long, dog. I had to I was like, dude, before I leave, I need to go get me a Publix sub. I need to get me a Publix sub, dog. So I go to Publix, and I get a they have a bunch of different kinds of stuff. They even had a Cuban sandwich that I could have got. I didn't get a Cuban sandwich, but I got a BLT because I love their BLTs. And turns out, so I told the lady, I'm like, no pressure, but I'm from Florida originally, and I live in Virginia now, so I haven't had a Publix sub since I lived in Florida. And this was and I was like, I want a BLT. She was like, I'm from Florida. I was like, and she was like, oh, snap. The other dude that was working there, he's like, what part of Florida are you from? And I was like, Miami Gardens, when I was in high school, right? That area, right? And they're like, yo, he's from Florida too. Turns out they moved up there because their homes were ruined during Hurricane Andrew.
Wow.
And and Hurricane Andrew happened.
That was like
kind of on my birthday
or something like that. Yeah,
August. Kind of on my birthday. It's like the day after.
Yeah,
their homes was completely demolished. Hurricane Andrew.
Wow.
She escaped. That lady escaped. Her house kind of collapsed or some joint like that. I think she was saying, and she escaped with her and her daughter. Like, it was just her and her daughter that was living there. Yeah. But that was it. They barely escaped with their lives, and they, life took them whatever direction, and like they ended up in Tennessee at this Publix. And here I am. It's like, yo, that joint happened kind of on my birthday, and like I'm here visiting, so it's crazy. And like I'm here just because of this nostalgia.
That's a weird.
And I was just like, I need to have a Publix sub because of this nostalgia, and like, we just met up, and so that was, I don't know, it's just serendipitous, I guess, the way it worked out. But
yeah, that's a proper word.
Okay, so what I was saying, so the hurricane season spans from June 1st to November 20th. With they predicting that there's an 85% chance of an above average normal season. There's a 10% chance of a near normal season, and a 5% chance of a below normal season. This is why I love science, because science is like, there's nothing. So they'll give you percentages of these chances and statistics and stuff like that. But like,
science be playing games, man.
85% chance, but they told you from the jump.
But they told you
85% chance it's gonna be an above normal season. So that could be pretty bad.
They gave me some quantitative data, so I can respect that.
Yeah. So NOAA is forecasting a range of 17 to 25 total named storms, which are with winds up to 39 miles per hour. Of those that are 8 to 13 are forecast to become hurricanes. Those winds will be 75. What are categorized as hurricanes will be 74 miles per hour or higher, including 4. And so out of that, there's 4 to 7 major hurricanes. So that's Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 5. Cat 3 is what happened in Katrina. Remember, Katrina was Cat 3 in New Orleans. You saw that did. So you get a Cat 3 in the wrong spot, just a Cat 3.
Yeah,
in the wrong spot, it's going to be crazy for you, right? And so that'll be with winds of 111 miles an hour. So this is not even talking about storm surge. This is talking about like even knocking down homes and flying debris and cars and crap like that. Forecasters have a they have a 70% chance of confidence with these ranges that I just mentioned. That's pretty high. If I was going into anything, and I'm like, if I was going into the finals in a track meet or something like that, if I'm going to a tennis match and I have a 75% chance, I know from jump, like for sure, I have a 70% chance. 70, was it 70? Yeah, 70% chance of winning the finals in at the French Open. I'm gonna take the odds, dog. I'm putting a lot of money. I'm putting a lot of money on the mods.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So look out. As much as data as they have, they are really putting their confidence that it's gonna be a rough hurricane season. That allows me to pivot into the next thing. So we have a theme of climate here.
Yeah.
You've been to the ocean, you've been to the water, you've been to the beach, you've been on a boat, you see the surface area, the water is always churning. Right? The currents is coming and going. There's the moon phases and all that kind of stuff. High tide, low tide, all that kind of stuff. And this is you mentioned this earlier too. It's kind of like talks about the whole hidden ocean thing. The water under the surface, it moves too, back and forth.
Yeah.
Right? As the earth spins, as gravitational, factors happen from just dark matter that's flying throughout the time-space continuum, just gravitational waves that like you can't even see, but they're happening right now, even as we speak, right? The neutrinos that are flying through our bodies right now, that's coming through my camera to you, that are flying through the earth, they're like unstopped, right? There's all kinds of like quantum physics and all that kind of stuff that goes on.
I know what you're talking about.
Invisible. Yeah. But yeah, the ocean is always moving, and currents from the surface to all the way down to the seafloor. The Atlantic, meridional overturning circulation. So AMOC. So we're gonna call it AMOC because that's just short from here on out. Is a key ocean current system moving warm water north and cold water south. So just how we had the trade winds, when sailors doing the Atlantic slave trade, and I'm never gonna miss an opportunity to say all of this shit is because of slavery. I'm like, it's not because of slavery. Well, it started because of slavery, but slavery is involved here, right? Yeah. Because hypercapitalism started in slavery, right? And hypercapitalism brought on the Industrial Revolution, and Industrial Revolution brought on the freaking, pollution and exploitation of the earth and deforestation and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
I could find a way to bring that shit back to slavery. I can always find a way to bring that shit back to slavery. But the so this is also happening in the waters, right? And so you have the way that the currents moving and the way that the water movements are happening in the Atlantic. It keeps a kind of a balance, right? Where the cold water comes in and the warm water moves out, kind of thing, and they replenish each other, right? Because of the circulation that's happening in AMOC. Now, scientists are worried that AMOC is slowing, so this churning is slowing down, which could cause significant climate changes, such as more extreme temperatures and altered precipitation patterns. If you are familiar with hurricanes, as folks from Florida may be, you know what hurricanes need to gain power and gain strength is warm waters.
Yep.
So where this pattern of churning is slowing down and the planet is overall warming, that's going to increase your chance of more hurricanes, no? Because the water is nice and warm, right? Okay. A weakened AMOC might also strengthen storms and raise sea levels along the North American Atlantic coast. That's the East Coast. We live on the East Coast. That's us, right? They're talking to us and all of Florida, which is already halfway underwater, anyways. A study. Okay, so here's the science. A study using over 60 years of data from the University of Maryland, scientists assess AMOC's health, highlighting its importance to Earth's climate balance. And so let me read a little bit.
It's so crazy that this is even actually even being tracked.
They can track it. You track the temperatures.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You track the climate, on how the climate is, the overall health of the climate.
Tracking the circulation of the water that's beneath the surface is, wow, technology is just different level.
Well, the thing is, the scientists, they freaking they use the historical data, and that historical data, if you keep over time accumulating that, you
can make projections, and
you can make projections. Yeah. We know that there's a chance of increase. So we know that the temperature is rising. We know that the AMOC is slowing, and we already know that the NOAA already predicted that this is going to be a more active. That chances are 70% sure this is going to be a more active hurricane season, right? How we need to tie this and bring this home is to show that a lot of times people think that when it comes to climate change, this is all future generations' problems. This is all stuff that's going to happen 100 years from now, 150 years from now. But this is stuff that is being affected today. Singapore Airlines.
I saw people from across the aisle.
People might have seen this in the news. They suffered some extreme turbulence during a flight,
hitting the ceiling and landing back down in like really awkward positions. The seatbelt signs were not on, as well as no announcement from the pilot necessarily. I think the pilot was really just trying to deal with the situation before he could even really tell everybody within the plane to brace or hold on or to buckle in. And honestly, I didn't understand at all the full scale of what happened.
They suffered some extreme turbulence during a flight. And people were wondering, scientists are wondering, is this due to climate change? It was turbulence. Remember I talked about the trade winds earlier? How that matches up with the AMOC, which is the water, and how the water warming up is slowing down can impact things like hurricanes and other weather patterns. This is from the water to the sky, and we fly planes through that sky.
Yeah,
and the climate in that region, in the sky, in the jet stream, the jet stream even, and this is a whole there was the whole La Nina year.
Yeah,
right. Experts say climate change is expected to make incidents of turbulence worse for air travelers. Reading from Al Jazeera here. There's this guy, Jeff Kitchen. He was on his way to a 6-week holiday across South Asia and Australia with his wife, Linda. 10 hours into the flight and in the middle of the breakfast service, Singapore Airlines flight SQ321 from London to Singapore plunged 6,000 feet in minutes. I've been on a plane before that dropped something like, I think that joint dropped like 1,200 feet. Like, and this was like a commercial plane.
Yeah.
You feel like, yo, my joint was kind of floating a little bit for half a second. Like, whoa.
Yeah. Well,
this joint dropped 6,000 feet in a minute. That bit was like, you think this is going down. It's going down. This is going down.
Yeah.
Well, you hit zero gravity at that point. Joint is going down. The Boeing 777. Hold on now.
I saw that and I was like, what plane are they on? What plane they using?
Hold on now. So I don't know.
I was looking at my flight later on in the year, and I'm like, let me see what kind of plane.
So I don't know if maybe some other planes might have had this much trouble with this turbulence. but this Boeing plane did. Allegedly. Right?
Allegedly.
This plane carrying 211 passengers and 18 crew members made an emergency landing in Bangkok. Kitchen, who's the guy we talked about earlier, he went into cardiac arrest and ultimately died.
What?
At least 71 others were injured and 20 people are still in intensive care in Bangkok. You wouldn't even go into Bangkok. Now you in Bangkok and in ICU. What causes turbulence? Turbulence is essentially a disturbance in the air, and there are several different factors. Like I mentioned, the weather patterns. There's a jet stream that's there.
Yeah.
They go on to say here, terrain like mountains, for example. Yeah. If you have the wind blowing and the air flowing in particular in those mountains, it has to go around the mountain. Yeah, and like there's a whole like butterfly effect that happens after that. The sun, even they even there's this thing called what is it? While weather events can affect turbulence as well, the one that causes the most concern is called clear air turbulence, or CAT. We have a quote here. It can be caused by what are called gravity waves that cause undulations in the air that you can't see. The only way pilots know about it is to hear about it from a previous pilot, right? Pilots often listen to what a person who took that same flight path a few minutes earlier say.
Well, yeah.
That's the best way to detect these turbulence events.
Yeah, for sure.
Just going through it. Somebody else going through it like, hey, yo, by the way, careful when you fly over such and such Azerbaijan or wherever you're flying over. You know what I mean? There's this hella turbulence that I just went through, at like 1300 at the time. I mean, you gotta fly through there like freaking at 1400. You know what I mean? It might be some choppy. So you already tell your passengers. So when you get an announcement from your passengers, like, that joy goes. Nigga,
I don't know what you're saying, bro.
It'd be that. Because like they have other pilots that went through there that tell them, hey, that put out the APB for everybody to know that this is what's happening in this particular region. Have instances of turbulence risen, and is climate change responsible? A study from the University of Reading in England published last year found that between 1979 and 2020, clear air turbulence, CAT, right? This is the gravitational waves we're talking about. Clear air turbulence rose by 55% over the North Atlantic.
Over the North
One
Atlantic.
of the world's busiest flight routes.
I was like, dang, bro, I gotta fly over there.
Okay. Careful when flying over the North Atlantic. What are you gonna do? You can't take the wheel, right? Warmer temperatures can affect wind patterns. The report asserts that greenhouse gas emissions are largely to blame. And mind you, these planes themselves are releasing greenhouse gases as they fly through that bit. Right? That's echoed by researchers. So this is like another thing about shout out to science, because it ain't just them. Man. You got a whole nother University of Chicago is weighing in here, who forecast that warming temperatures could lead to higher wind speeds in the fastest upper level jet stream. The study suggests that speeds will increase by 2% for every degree Celsius that the planet warms, which is already expected to increase by 4 degrees Celsius by the end of the century, if greenhouse gases continue to rise at the same level. The global temperature has increased by at least 1.1 degrees Celsius since the pre-industrial era. Over that period, the biggest surge has been since 1975, according to NASA.
We talked about that some time ago, about the rising global temperature.
Bro, turbulence is expected to increase most drastically in the North Atlantic region. This is the flight path, the key route between North America and Europe. But there is also a massive surge expected in South China, the Western Pacific, and Northern India. In 2021, a study by Nanjing University in China. This is global, son. Global. The study from China forecasts a 50% increase in instances of CAT by 2059. So, mitigate. Good luck. We're gonna have to build better engines. So Boeing, I'm sorry, you're out of there. You're out of there. You can't be flying these boys like dog.
Start making commercial submarines.
Bro, you might have to go to that water drop, but that AMOC, you know what I mean? You might have to.
Oh, yeah, that AMOC.
Who knows what it's gonna happen, dog? You can't even. You gotta make different submarines, dog.
Trying to go to South Africa. That AMOC have you ended up in Ivory Coast,
bro? What you doing over here?
What you doing? Yeah,
over here, son. This joint is wild, and I mean, it's now. It's in the here and now. It's not some future problem. It's here and now. So good luck out there. You should vote in people that believe that this is actually happening. This is actually a thing, and that are proposing solutions to helping people live through it.
It's challenge day.